If you've been on the internet for the last week or so, you may have heard about a little game with a lot of buzz and excitement surrounding it, Expedition 33, or to give it its full title, Clairobscur Expedition 33. Now, I was just going to play this game offline after a friend highly recommended it to me and leave all my thoughts and feelings on the title between me and them. But it didn't take long until I realised that I was playing something special. And with my next couple of projects being a bit bigger than usual and still being quite far out from being made, I figured, why not just talk about it? Now, do not worry about spoilers. I am not too far into this game myself at time of recording, and I just didn't want to make a really in-depth deep dive into this with it still being so fresh and new. We live in such a hellish time for spoilers as it is, and I just didn't want to add to that. Instead, I just wanted to make a quick video on why I think this prologue is so damn perfect. Now that being said, I will obviously be covering the majority of the prologue, so there will still be some spoilers. If you truly want to know nothing about the game going in, then please go and play the prologue, then come back. And please do consider leaving a like and a sub on this channel. I do a lot of deep dive video essays and classic games such as Max Payne and Time Splitters, so if that is your thing and you don't want to miss out, then you're just one click away. So before I start singing the praises of this prologue, let me give a quick overview of the plot. We are living in a doomed world. Every year, the people gather to watch a goddess called the Paintress paint an ever-decreasing number in the sky, and when she does, every citizen at that age perishes. To combat this, every year, volunteers with usually nothing but a year left of their lives volunteer for that year's expedition, where they venture overseas to explore, find answers about this goddess, and hopefully bring a stop to her. Now with that quick plot synopsis out the way, let's get on with the praise. The first thing that just really hit me about Expedition is the music. Not since The Last of Us has a game's music captured the tone so perfectly, in my opinion. The music is so somber and sad, yet so beautiful as well. It fits the tone of people passing and the acceptance that we all have to face when dealing with that. It's hard to explain. I feel the sadness in the music, but I also feel the acceptance in it, the inevitability. It feels like someone performing at a loved one's funeral who has already come to terms with their passing. The next thing that struck me was the voice acting. Now, they have some serious talent in this game, like Daredevil himself, Charlie Cox, you got Ben Starr, Jennifer English, and the legend himself, Andy Serkis. But it's not just the talent here I want to praise, it's the direction. Check this scene out. Now, for context, our main character, Gustav, a brilliant engineer, is reuniting with his ex-girlfriend Sophie, who is about to perish in this year's Gamache, which is basically the festival that is put on every year to watch the Paintress paint the next number and wipe out a large amount of the population. So you are playing the last moments of Sophie's life in this prologue, speaking to the townsfolk as she makes her way to the harbour and to her inevitable death. So, with that in mind, listen to this moment.
Yeah, he did.
I knew he would.
Has everybody already left?
Yeah. Everybody's heading to the harbour. Sophie.
Looks like you still have a lot of flowers left.
Well, there are less and less people to buy them. I just wish you didn't have to wear one.
Tiffany.
I should finish cleaning up here and join everyone at the harbour.
See you. See you.
I think this is incredible. You can hear the sadness in these people's voices. When they talk, you can hear what they want to say to one another, but can't without running the risk of breaking down and crying. It was what was left unsaid in this scene that I truly love so much. Now, if you are going to play this game, and I highly recommend that you do, please explore everything you can. You can meet so many characters and get their take on this doomed world in this prologue, and it's all the different takes and perspectives that I appreciate the most here. I love that some are hurt that Sophie has chosen not to have children. They see it as selfish, that she's truly given up on hope on these expeditions ever succeeding, whereas some resent their children, seeing them as an horrific reminder each day that they will die in front of these confused and scared kids, who will then be sent to an orphanage to do nothing but live out the rest of their days there until their number is up too. Or, maybe worse, they volunteer for an expedition and die that way. Some you meet now dwell in anger or in a drunken stupor, whereas some are desperately trying to make amends with family before they pass for those silly little arguments that they got into. There are just so many stories here, and I don't want to spoil them all. I implore you to go and find them and experience them yourself. I loved all of them, and I really commend the makers of this game for not making any of these people right or wrong. I can't fault any of these people for how they've reacted and behaved in this world. We could do the same. We could turn out to be like any of these people. It always reminds me of that would you rather. You know, the one that goes, would you rather know how you die or when you die? Well, these people know, and look what's happened to them. We were never meant to know our due date. I don't think we could ever handle that. And one word that does keep coming to mind when playing this prologue and talking with these people is the word nihilism. And I love how Expedition once again seems to tackle this philosophy in many different ways. I think nihilism has had a bad misconception over the years due to characters like Rick Sanchez. It is lazily laid out as if nothing matters, so who cares, whilst they wallow in self-pity and destructive behaviours. They heavily lean into the pessimistic side of this philosophy, but I think it's meant to mean the opposite. The beauty of nihilism to me is that, yeah, there is no point to all of this. There are no answers. There is nothing after we pass, or any higher purpose. So stop worrying about it and live your life. Just because there is no meaning does not mean that you are meaningless. And I think this game does a wonderful job of letting us meet a variety of people that share different views like this. I mean, even Sophia herself shows this side of nihilism. She has every right to be angry and destructive and sad, but she isn't. I mean, sure, deep down she still seems sad. I mean, she is still dying at the end of the day, quite literally, but conversations that she has with people show that she has very little regrets in her life, bar maybe having a fight and breaking up with Gustav. She shows a lot of acceptance in her decisions, and ones that she hasn't been forced to make in just the last year of her life, but decisions in her life that she seems to have accepted a very long time ago. When challenged on her stance about not becoming a mother, she says that she wouldn't want to bring children into this doomed world, showing that yes, she has all but given up on saving it, yet she still shows belief in Gustav. Even when challenged by a woman who shows a similar disbelief in the expeditions, she refutes it by basically saying, well, no, because this time it's going to be different because my boyfriend is going. Even making him show off some fighting moves and tech, which changes this woman's mind, so much so that she herself starts contemplating going on an expedition. She also just shows so much empathy and compassion in these harsh times, even to the paintress herself. I love this moment where she discusses how sometimes even she feels bad for this goddess.
Sometimes I feel sorry for her.
Who? The paintress?
Look at her. She looks sad. Maybe she's a prisoner too, stuck in the same cycle with us. Silly her.
Only you could choose empathy at a moment like this.
It's one of the few choices I can make.
I couldn't do it.
It's okay. You don't have to.
I mean, what a great rabbit hole to go down as well. To wonder if maybe, after all this time, the paintress herself is nothing but a trapped, sad, and lonely god being forced into this loop of death. Now I want to quickly touch upon the combat itself. I am a sucker for some turn-based RPG goodness, but I love the little extra touches we have with this one. It is stylish, yes, extremely, but with some flares that can really mix up the potential monotony that turn-based RPGs can have. The dodging and parrying have such a great skill gap to them that I'm sure I will pick up as the game goes on. And finally, I saved the most obvious for last. The core hook of this game. Now I've rabbited on about character moments and interactions that I've loved, and sure the combat is snazzy, but none of it will really keep you going without the lure of the story itself. And my god did this have one hell of a lure. The whole premise of this goddess counting down our doom each year and us having to venture out to learn more and try and beat her is so incredible. There was an old lesson that I learned when taking writing classes and script writing courses. If the audience isn't hooked within the first 10 minutes, they never will be. And sure, that isn't a set in stone rule of writing, but it sure as hell worked here. This is why I knew I only needed to cover the prologue in this video. I spent an hour here, speaking with everyone, interacting with everything, until I made it to Act 1. But this is pretty much that 10-minute hook those writers and teachers were talking about. And I feel like again I have to compare it to The Last of Us, as I feel like that also had such a powerful intro that would hook in the player, and that game also had such a great emphasis on characters and people, and I just loved The Last of Us. There's also this great core mystery surrounding the game. I still know very little, so when this moment was the first thing we saw when finally starting the expedition, I was locked in.
How did you survive the Gomage?
Anyway, I hope this video did somewhat of a good job putting just some of my thoughts and feelings into why I love this game's intro, and just why I think it's something truly special. Just boiling it down to setting up the right amount of intrigue and mystery, whilst also giving us some great characters seems like such an obvious thing to say, but it feels like in this industry it's just very rare to see. I'm going to play the rest of this game, and hopefully continue to enjoy it. Who knows, maybe I'll make a full deep dive into it one day. Thank you for watching. I know this is a very different type of video that I usually make, So if you have enjoyed it and want to see more, then please do feel free to like and subscribe. It helps the channel out more than you will ever know. And if you want to continue the conversation about Clair, then please comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care.